During this presentation, we will take a look at personality assessment in the human resource selection process. Whereas cognitive ability tests measure a person's mental capacity, personality tests measure dispositional characteristics such as extroversion, inquisitiveness, and dependability. Interest tests such as the Cooter Inventory measure an applicant's performances for certain activities over others, such as sailing versus poker. Beyond the initial hiring decision, personality and interest inventories may be most helpful for helping with occupational selection and career planning. Many employers utilize personality tests in the employment selection process to identify people who have more than just the knowledge and skills necessary to be successful in their jobs. I am sure you will find from your own experience that the workplace is full of people whose personalities are a mismatch for the position they hold. Psychology has the ability to measure personality and emotional intelligence, which can provide employers with data to use in the selection process. By using a scientific approach in hiring, employers can increase their number of successful employees. You will also find that the link between personality and emotional intelligence to job performance is compelling. You will find as you start to practice in the HR profession that cognitive measurement tools are good predictors of job success. One important reason that they are not perfect predictors is that human personality is an important factor in job success. Personality is the sum total of ways in which an individual reacts to and interacts with others, and we most often describe it in terms of the measurable traits a person exhibits. One of the best supported models for measuring personality involves the Big Five model, with its 5 basic dimensions that capture most of the variations in human personality. The Big Five traits include neuroticism, emotional ability, extroversion, openness to experience, agreeableness, and conscientiousness. These 5 job traits are connected to job performance and are predictors of certain outcomes. As a result, the employer will most often avoid counterproductive behavior, reduce turnover and absenteeism, employ persons who exhibit more teamwork and leadership abilities, employees that provide more effective customer service, that contribute more citizenship behavior, among others. There are several tests that measure the Big Five personality dimensions, but 2 most popular are the NEO Personality Inventory and the Personality Characteristic Inventory. The PIC is comprised of 150 multiple choice questions and asks questions such as, I tend not to say what I think about things, that is, testing extroversion, or I approach most of my work steadily and persistently, that is, testing conscientiousness. The first Big Five personality test developed for the business community was the Hogan Personality Inventory, with its focus on normal personality rather than abnormal personality. A 2003 meta-analytic review of 43 studies found that the HPI is an effective predictor of job performance for many different jobs, including customer service representatives, hospitality administrators, bus drivers, department managers, and police officers. There is some debate about whether personality measures should be used in employee selection. This has been under question because it is believed that personality tests used for employee selection are not valid and can be faked. Faking is defined as the tendency to deliberately present oneself in a more positive manner than is accurate in order to meet the perceived demands of the testing situation. The concerns is that a person with high cognitive abilities will have the intellectual skill necessary to identify the answers that will maximize their chances of getting a position. A quick search on the internet will find advice on how to fake these tests. What do you think? Can an employee fake a personality test? Is it possible that the data may not be interpreted properly? Think about it. As more and more companies decide to utilize personality assessment tests in the employee selection process, applicant faking and placating skeptics are not the only hazard a company can expect. If not constructed properly, the potential legal ramifications of these tests can be massive. The two most significant legal considerations is using personality assessment tests are Title VII discrimination and discrimination on under the American with Disabilities Act. While intentional discrimination is certainly possible, the more likely risk for companies acting in good faith involves inadvertent discrimination through the use of valid and reliable instruments. The Federal Civil Rights Act of 1964 generally prohibits employers from discriminating on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin in the employment context, including the employee selection process. To assist employers in the selection process, Title VII allows professionally developed ability tests as long as they are not designed, intended, or used to discriminate based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. Personality differences between races are small and should not impact the use of personality tests in the employment selection process. You should recall the Griggs versus Duke Power case. This was the first Supreme Court case that examined unintentional discrimination. The court accepted a lower court finding that the business was not intentionally discriminating against the plaintiffs based on race. The court then shifted its inquiry to the employer's use of two commercially available tests. Both still are used today, and held that these facially non-discriminatory tests violated Title VII because the test had a disparate impact on the African American plaintiffs, and the employer did not prove that the tests were related to job performance. The Griggs Court, however, ended its opinion with agreement that employee selection tools are extremely important to businesses, but that businesses need to use tests that are designed for the job and not the person in the abstract. Presumably, if the employer in Griggs had conducted a meaningful study and determined that the two ability tests were related to job performance, then the court would have found there was no Title VII violation. The Americans with Disabilities Act prohibits employers from conducting pre-employment medical exams. Though most employers are only interested in identifying personality traits necessary for a particular position, some personality tests might also have the ability to identify a medical condition, thereby violating the ADA. Also, employers cannot ask certain questions like whether they agree or disagree with the following statements. People do a lot of things that make you angry. There's no use having close friends, they always let you down. Many people cannot be trusted, or you are unsure of what they say when you meet them. Some applicants imply that these questions might identify mental illness, which is prohibited by the ADA. Even though an employer may be challenged in court for using personality assessment tests in the employee selection, the benefits of more successful employees far outweigh potential legal cost. The key is for employers to use valid, reliable, and legally sustainable tests in hiring employees, not only because this will reduce potential lawsuits, but also because it is the only way the employers can scientifically identify the best candidate for the job. This is the end of this presentation. Have a wonderful week.